Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of Earth's Orbital Defense Station Alpha, her weathered face reflected against the backdrop of stars. 27 years in the United Earth Defense Force hadn't prepared her for this moment. The Kryvax vessel hanging in high orbit dwarfed anything humanity had ever built, a twisted mass of dark metal and pulsing energy nodes that stretched nearly 3 kilometers from bow to stern. "They're hailing us again," Admiral Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his communication station. Same frequency as before. Chen straightened her uniform and nodded. "Put them through." The holographic display flickered to life, revealing Supreme Commander Vorthak of the Kryvax Empire. His crystalline exoskeleton caught the light, creating rainbow refractions across the command center. 4 pairs of compound eyes studied Chen with what she interpreted as contempt. "Your species has had sufficient time to consider our terms," Vorthak's translator conveyed in perfectly modulated English. "The Kryvax Empire requires your answer." Chen's jaw tightened. The terms were simple enough. Earth would submit to Kryvax authority, surrender its military assets, and provide resources and labor to the Empire. In return, humanity would be allowed to live as a protectorate species. The alternative was annihilation. "We have considered your terms carefully, Supreme Commander," Chen replied, maintaining eye contact with the alien leader. "The United Earth government respectfully declines." A chittering sound emerged from Vorthak that the translator didn't bother to interpret. "Admiral Chen, your species has barely mastered interplanetary travel. Your weapons are primitive, your defenses inadequate. The Empire has conquered 37 worlds in this sector alone. Why choose extinction?" Chen allowed herself a small smile. "Because, Supreme Commander, you've made a fundamental error in your assessment. You see us as primitive because we haven't spread across the stars, but that's not due to lack of capability. Humanity has spent millennia perfecting the art of warfare against ourselves. You speak of your internal conflicts as if they were achievements." Vorthak's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Every major technological advancement in human history has been driven by conflict," Chen continued. "From the first bronze swords to nuclear fission, from radar to artificial intelligence, war has been our greatest teacher. While your empire was expanding across the stars, we were learning to fight in every environment imaginable. Deserts, jungles, mountains, oceans, and the urban labyrinths we built ourselves." She gestured to the tactical display showing Earth's orbital defense grid. "Those primitive weapons you detected, they're just the surface layer. Humanity hasn't survived this long by showing all its cards at once." Warning lights flashed across the command center as the Kryvax vessel's energy signature began to spike. Vorthak's crystalline form seemed to shimmer with barely contained rage. "Then you will learn, as all others have, why the Empire remains undefeated. You have one planetary rotation to reconsider before we begin our assault." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the command center in tense silence. Lieutenant Rodriguez spoke first, his voice tight with concern. "Admiral, their ship's energy readings are off the charts. Nothing in our simulations suggested they had this kind of firepower." Chen turned to face her crew, seeing the mixture of fear and determination in their eyes. "Get me a secure line to all Earth defense commands. It's time to activate Protocol Thermopylae." She allowed herself a grim smile. "Let's show them why picking a fight with humanity was their second mistake." "And their first mistake, Admiral?" Rodriguez asked. "Thinking we'd be fighting alone." Chen turned back to the viewport, watching as hundreds of stealth satellites began decloaking around Earth's orbit. Humanity learned long ago that the deadliest weapon isn't the biggest ship or the strongest shield. It's the enemy who knows they're fighting for survival. The next 24 hours would prove her right, as humanity prepared to demonstrate why thousands of years of warfare hadn't made them primitive. It had made them dangerous. The Kryvax attack began at dawn. Deep within NORAD's Cheyenne Mountain complex, Dr. Maya Patel watched as the alien fleet emerged from hyperspace, not dozens of ships as expected, but hundreds. The quantum radar array she'd helped design painted them in ghostly green across the holographic display. Energy signatures are consistent with their main battleship, she reported, fingers dancing across the haptic interface. But these escort vessels, they're running something different, more efficient. General Marcus Torres nodded grimly. The command center buzzed with controlled chaos as Earth's military forces mobilized. Different how? Their shield harmonics are adaptive, Maya explained, highlighting one of the alien cruisers. Our conventional weapons won't penetrate them the same way twice. They're learning. Good thing we don't plan to use conventional weapons then. Torres activated the global command channel. This is Sierra Actual. Execute Operation Longbow. Authentication code, Sparta 7 Delta 9. Across the planet, hidden silos opened in deserts, mountains, and ocean floors. But instead of nuclear missiles, humanity's obvious deterrent, they launched something the Kryvax had never encountered: quantum-entangled drone swarms. Maya allowed herself a small smile as the first wave activated. The drones were her life's work, built on technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien scout ship decades ago. Each one was barely larger than a softball, powered by miniaturized fusion cores that Earth officially shouldn't have been able to develop for another century. The Kryvax fleet descended through the atmosphere, their energy weapons turning night into day. The first shots struck Earth's orbital defense platforms, only to pass through holographic decoys. The real platforms, cloaked and phase-shifted, remained untouched. They're following predicted attack patterns. Colonel Sarah Chen's voice came through from Orbital Command, beginning counteroffensive in 3, 2, 1. The drone swarms struck first. Unlike traditional weapons, they didn't attack the Kryvax ships directly. Instead, they created localized quantum fields that disrupted the alien vessel's shield harmonics. Areas of space literally turned inside out, leaving sections of the mighty warships exposed. Impossible. The Kryvax commander's transmission boomed across all frequencies. Your species cannot possess this technology. Maya keyed her comm. Actually, Supreme Commander, we've had the theoretical framework for quantum field manipulation since 1935. You just gave us a reason to perfect it. The alien ships adjusted quickly, their adaptive shields shifting to new frequencies. But that's exactly what Earth's defenders had counted on. The second wave of drones activated, using the Kryvax's own shield modifications against them. Multiple enemy vessels showing critical shield failures, a tactical officer reported. Point defense systems are overwhelmed. Torres turned to Maya. Time to show them our other surprise. Activate the Chimera protocol. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, enormous hangar doors opened. What emerged wasn't the primitive submarines the Kryvax scans had detected, but something far more deadly. Biomechanical leviathans, grown in secret using a combination of genetic engineering and quantum technology. Chimera units deploying worldwide, Maya confirmed. Synchronizing with drone swarms now. The Kryvax fleet's formation began to break as the full scope of humanity's defensive capabilities became clear. Their energy weapons, while devastating, couldn't track the quantum-shifted drones. Their shields, designed to withstand direct attacks, proved vulnerable to the indirect quantum field manipulations. They're adapting faster than projected, Maya warned, watching as the alien ships began to coordinate their defensive measures. Shield penetration dropping to 60%, 40%. Torres nodded, just as expected. Time for Phase 3. He opened a channel to all Earth forces. All units, execute Delta Protocol. Authorization. Thermopylae. Maya watched as thousands of smaller signatures appeared on her display. Civilian ships, retrofitted with military tech that had been distributed in secret over the past decade. Earth's population had spent generations preparing for this moment, hiding their true capabilities beneath a veneer of division and technological restraint. The Kryvax had expected to find a primitive species, divided and vulnerable. Instead, they faced a unified planet that had turned millennia of warfare into an art form. Every human conflict, every arms race, every military innovation had led to this moment. Enemy fleet showing signs of tactical withdrawal, Maya reported, allowing herself a moment of pride. They're falling back to high orbit. Torres smiled grimly. They're about to learn why you should never corner a species that turned their entire planet into one giant defense system. Signal the lunar batteries. Let's show them what humanity's primitive weapons can really do. As the hidden installations on Earth's moon powered up, Maya realized the Kryvacs were about to learn another crucial lesson. Humanity hadn't survived countless wars by fighting fair. They'd survived by fighting smart. Supreme Commander Vorthak's crystalline exoskeleton had developed hairline fractures, a sign of extreme stress in his species. The holographic battle map before him showed an impossible scenario. His mighty fleet, pride of the Kryvacs Empire, was being systematically dismantled by a supposedly primitive species. Report, he demanded, his translator struggling to mask the tremor in his voice. The humans are not fighting according to any known military doctrine, his tactical officer responded. Their attacks appear random, yet demonstrate precise coordination. We've lost 37 vessels to attacks we cannot predict or counter. On Earth's surface, Colonel Diana Hayes crouched in the ruins of Singapore, leading what appeared to be a ragtag group of resistance fighters. In reality, they were elite special forces operators from 20 different nations, executing humanity's most audacious counter-offensive yet. Ghost Team status, she whispered into her quantum-encrypted comm. Phase shifters planted on all designated targets, came the reply, ready to light up their ground forces. The Kryvacs had landed massive walker units, three-legged war machines that towered over skyscrapers. They expected to find cities full of panicking civilians. Instead, they found elaborate traps laid by a species that had perfected urban warfare over centuries. Execute Operation Achilles, Hayes ordered. Across the ruined cityscape, quantum phase shifters activated. The massive alien walkers suddenly found portions of their legs existing in slightly different dimensional phases. The effect was catastrophic. Multi-ton war machines toppled like dominoes, their own mass becoming their greatest weakness. High above, Maya Patel's voice crackled through the comm. Colonel, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the Kryvacs flagship. They're preparing something big. Let them, Hayes replied, a fierce grin spreading across her face. Activate the basilisk arrays. Throughout Earth's cities, hidden quantum mirrors flickered to life. These devices, based on technology humanity had been developing since the Philadelphia experiment of 1943, didn't just reflect energy. They redirected it through dimensional space. The Kryvacs flagship unleashed its supreme weapon, a planet-cracking energy beam that could shatter continental plates. But as the beam struck Earth's atmosphere, the basilisk arrays caught it, twisted it through quantum space, and redirected it back at the alien fleet. Impossible. Vorthak's voice boomed across all frequencies. Your species was barely atomic when we first detected you. That's because we learned long ago to hide our true capabilities, General Torres responded from NORAD. Every war humanity has fought taught us one crucial lesson. The element of surprise is worth more than technological superiority. The redirected energy beam tore through the Kryvacs fleet, their own shields calibrated to resist attacks from below, not their own weaponry from above. Ships began exploding in cascade, their reactor cores destabilizing. All ground teams, execute Hydra Protocol, Hayes ordered, watching as her forces seemingly multiplied across the battlefield. The quantum tech they wore didn't just cloak them, it created temporal echoes, making each soldier appear to be in multiple places simultaneously. The Kryvacs ground forces, already destabilized by the loss of their walkers, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to exist everywhere and nowhere. Centuries of human guerrilla warfare tactics, combined with bleeding-edge technology, created an impossible battlefield. Their command structure is breaking down, Maya reported from Cheyenne Mountain. We're detecting massive communications disruptions across their fleet. In orbit, Admiral Chen watched from the defense station as chaos spread through the alien armada. "They made the same mistake everyone makes," she commented to Lieutenant Rodriguez. "They assumed technological superiority equals tactical superiority. And they forgot that humans have been practicing the art of war since we first picked up stones," Rodriguez added. The Kryvax fleet began a disorganized retreat, their formations shattered, their confidence broken. But Vorthak wasn't finished. His flagship turned toward Earth's moon, where human reinforcements had been gathering. "If we cannot have this world," his transmission crackled, "neither shall." His threat was cut short as hundreds of quantum torpedoes, weapons humanity had hidden inside seemingly innocent communications satellites, activated simultaneously. The torpedoes didn't explode. They simply altered the quantum state of small portions of the flagship's hull, causing cascade failures throughout the massive vessel. "A warrior species doesn't announce their final attack," Hayes transmitted to the failing flagship. "They just execute it." As the Kryvax fleet retreated in disarray, humanity had proven a truth they'd known for millennia. It's not the size of the army that matters, but the cunning of its warriors and the depths of their determination. The void between Earth and Luna erupted with light as the Kryvax Empire launched its final, desperate assault. What remained of their once mighty fleet had consolidated into a spear formation, a last-ditch tactic that had broken planetary defenses across 37 worlds. But Earth wasn't like those other worlds. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of the EDS Thermopylae, humanity's first true battleship. The vessel had been built in secret, piece by piece, in underground facilities across the globe. Its existence was humanity's final card, a ship that incorporated every lesson learned from millennia of warfare. "All hands," she broadcast across the fleet channel. "Execute Operation Leonidas." The response came from thousands of voices in perfect unison. Until the end. The Thermopylae's quantum core hummed to life, its revolutionary drive system, based on principles discovered during the Philadelphia experiment, creating micro-tears in space-time. Around it, Earth's remaining defense fleet took formation, each ship piloted by crews who had trained their entire lives for this moment. "Supreme Commander Vorthak is hailing us," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. Chen nodded. "Put him through." The Kryvax leader's image appeared, his crystalline form now webbed with stress fractures. "You have fought well, humans, but this final assault cannot be stopped. Surrender now, and we will spare your civilian populations." "Interesting offer," Chen replied, her fingers dancing across the tactical display. "But you seem to have misunderstood something fundamental about humanity." She paused, allowing a small smile. "We don't know how to surrender." The quantum radar lit up as the Kryvax fleet accelerated, their energy weapons charging to maximum capacity. The spear formation was designed to concentrate their firepower into a single devastating burst that could crack a planet's crust. "All ships, execute maneuver Thermopylae," Chen ordered. "Dr. Patel, are you ready?" From her station in Cheyenne Mountain, Maya's voice came through clear. "Quantum field generators at full capacity, Admiral." The trap is set. The human fleet split apart in what appeared to be panic, creating a clear path to Earth. The Kryvax ships accelerated into the gap, their weapons reaching critical charge. "Now," Chen commanded. The Thermopylae's quantum drive activated at full power, not to move the ship, but to create something unprecedented, a localized time dilation field. The Kryvax fleet suddenly found itself moving through space where time itself flowed like molasses. "All ships, execute attack pattern Sigma," Chen ordered. "Show them why humanity never stopped preparing for war." Earth's fleet struck from all angles, their weapons specifically designed to exploit the weaknesses Maya had discovered in Kryvax shield technology. But the aliens weren't finished. Even trapped in the time dilation field, their ships began adapting, their advanced technology compensating for the impossible conditions. "Time dilation field is failing," Maya reported. "Their ships are generating some kind of temporal wake." Chen nodded grimly. "Just as we predicted." Initiate Phase 2. Across the battlefield, human ships began to kamikaze into the Kryvax fleet. But these weren't suicide runs. Each vessel was equipped with quantum entanglement bombs, devices that linked small portions of enemy ships together at the atomic level. When detonated, they caused catastrophic structural failures. Your species is insane. Vorthax transmission cut through the chaos. You sacrifice your own ships without hesitation. We sacrifice what we must to protect what matters, Chen replied. Humanity has known this truth since our first wars. The willingness to sacrifice is what separates warriors from conquerors. The Thermopylae shuddered as enemy fire broke through its defenses. Damage reports flooded in, but Chen remained focused. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Admiral, Rodriguez called out, the lunar batteries are in position. Chen opened a channel to all Earth forces. All ships, clear the blast zone. Maya, activate the gravity wells. Hidden installations across the moon's surface powered up, creating artificial gravity wells that began to tear at the fabric of space. The Kryvax fleet, still caught in the time dilation field, found themselves being pulled in multiple directions simultaneously. This is impossible. Vorthak's voice cracked with desperation. Your technology can it. Our technology isn't what you should have feared, Chen interrupted. It's our determination. Humanity didn't survive countless wars by being the strongest. We survived by being the most adaptable, the most cunning, and the most willing to pay any price for victory. The Thermopylae's hull groaned as Chen pushed it closer to the enemy flagship. And now, Supreme Commander, you'll learn why the most dangerous enemy isn't the one with the biggest weapons. She turned to her tactical officer. Execute final protocol. The Thermopylae's quantum core went critical, not through damage, but by design. The resulting explosion didn't just destroy ships. It created a quantum singularity that began consuming the Kryvax fleet. As her crew evacuated through emergency quantum tunnels, Chen remained at her post, ensuring the singularity stayed stable long enough to complete its work. Lieutenant Rodriguez, she transmitted one final time. Make sure they remember. Humanity never sought war among the stars. But we never forgot how to fight one. The singularity expanded, taking the remains of both fleets with it, before finally collapsing in on itself. The price had been high, but humanity had proven once again why they had survived every conflict in their history. They never fought for glory or conquest. They fought for survival. And in that cause, they remained undefeated. 3 months after the Battle of Luna, Earth's reconstruction was well underway. The Kryvax defeat had sent shockwaves through the galactic community, and the planet's orbit buzzed with diplomatic vessels from 24 alien civilizations, all suddenly very interested in peaceful relations with humanity. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the United Earth Council, now housed in the underground chambers of New Geneva. Through the quantum-reinforced windows, she could see the massive holograms protecting Earth's atmosphere, masking the planet's continued military preparations from prying eyes. The Kryvax Empire has sued for peace, she announced to the assembled leaders. Their Council of Elders has overthrown what remains of Supreme Commander Vorthak's military faction. They're offering significant technological and territorial concessions in exchange for our guarantee not to share our quantum warfare capabilities with other species. General Torres, now bearing the scars of orbital bombardment across his face, laughed quietly. They still don't understand, do they? Our strength never came from any single technology. In the orbital shipyards above, construction continued on humanity's new defense fleet. But unlike the vessels they replaced, these ships weren't hidden. Their quantum cores pulsed visibly, a reminder to the galaxy that humanity's technological restraint had been a choice, not a limitation. We've received another interesting proposal, Maya continued, bringing up a holographic display. The Galactic Concordat, a coalition of 17 spacefaring species, has requested Earth's assistance in establishing new protocols for interstellar warfare. They want the barbarians to teach them about war, Colonel Hayes commented from her wheelchair, her injuries from the Singapore battle still healing. Ironic. They want to understand how a primitive species defeated the most powerful military force in known space, Maya corrected. And more importantly, they want to ensure we never have reason to fight them. The quantum sensors suddenly pulsed, detecting a new arrival in the system. A massive ship emerged from hyperspace, the flagship of the Andromedan Federation, the oldest known civilization in the galaxy. They're requesting permission to enter orbit. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from his new position as Earth's Chief of Orbital Defense. Their message reads, "We come to learn." The council chamber fell silent. The Andromedans had long been considered the pinnacle of galactic civilization, maintaining their neutrality through technological superiority. Their presence here was unprecedented. Grant them clearance, Maya authorized, but maintain defensive protocols. Humanity's hospitality doesn't preclude caution. As the alien vessel approached, its sensors would detect what every visitor to Earth now saw: a planet that had transformed its entire warfare history into a shield. Ancient fortifications housed quantum batteries. Historical battlefields concealed dimensional shift generators. Every scar from humanity's warlike past had become part of their planetary defense system. The Andromedan ambassador requests to address the council, Rodriguez announced. The holographic display shifted, revealing a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline matrix. Its voice resonated directly in their minds. "We have watched your species since you first harnessed atomic energy," the ambassador began. "We saw your conflicts, your divisions, your endless wars, and we judged you primitive. We were wrong." Maya exchanged glances with her colleagues. This was why Admiral Chen had sacrificed herself, not just to win a battle, but to change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. "Your species didn't advance despite your warfare," the ambassador continued, "but because of it. Each conflict drove innovation. Each battle taught adaptation. While other races sought to eliminate war, you learned to understand it. And in doing so, you achieved what no other species has: perfect unity in the face of extinction." "We never wanted war," Maya responded. "We simply never forgot how to wage it." Precisely. The ambassador's energy form pulsed with what might have been appreciation. The Concordat speaks of peace through strength. The Kryvax taught fear through power. But humanity understands something far more fundamental. True peace comes from understanding war so deeply that you do everything possible to avoid it. General Torres stepped forward. "And now that the galaxy understands this," now, the ambassador's form brightened, "we wish to learn from you, not just your quantum technology or battle tactics, but something far more valuable: how to maintain peace by truly understanding the cost of war." Maya smiled, thinking of Admiral Chen's final words. "Then let us teach you what humanity learned through millennia of conflict. The strongest warriors aren't those who never fall, but those who always rise again. And the most powerful weapons aren't the ones that destroy enemies, but the ones that make enemies think twice about fighting in the first place." Hayes finished. Above them, Earth's quantum defense grid pulsed with power, not as a threat, but as a reminder. Humanity had never sought to rule the stars through force. They had simply ensured that anyone who brought war to Earth would learn why humans had survived every conflict in their history. Not because they were the strongest or the most advanced, but because they had turned the art of warfare into something far more powerful: the foundation of lasting peace. The galaxy would never look at humanity the same way again. And perhaps that had been the greatest victory of all.